Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Rays, and hopefully you're all doing well out there. It is a very crazy time right now with self-isolation, the virus, and everything like that. So hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos. Hope you're finding this interesting, and if you're like me, you're also waiting for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we're almost there. We're almost there. And speaking of being almost there, it's almost time for War of the Visions to launch on global. Something that I think will do, which will be a nice little distraction for some people, but hopefully you've been taking heed of my advice. So this is going to be the last of the official advice videos, just because it's starting to get to the point where I'm repeating myself about a lot of things. But overall, I need to explain about a really important topic that I've talked about many times: spending. Spending is a really is an optional thing that you have to do. Obviously, it depends on your financials. People who cannot afford this, and maybe you should not be affording this either. I'm not saying that you can't choose what to do with your own money, but currently it looks like the world is going into a global recession. It looks like people are losing their jobs, and we have no idea. The future is incredibly uncertain, and to that point, I would strongly recommend that you guys, both in terms of Brave Exvius and as well as War of the Visions, should really think about your spending habits and what you are spending in this game, and especially before it launches, because there are clear benefits to spending in this game. They have developed a system where people who spend are rewarded, and people who play for a long period of time are rewarded as well. These are considered to be the royal ranks. Royal ranks go up when you either spend money in the game or by doing logins and just doing dailies. Now, for anybody, somebody was wondering in the questions on other videos, how long does it take? Well, to get 2 times speed, I think we ended up calculating it at JP's launch that it would be about 2 years worth of playing. A long time, but really, here's the other side of that coin. The 2 times speed as opposed to 1.5 times speed is basically like, I think it works out to be like a 33% increase, which is definitely something. It's not nothing. If it wasn't nothing, I wouldn't be making a video about it. But it is definitely something. There are also rewards by having a high royal rank, of having more gold, more job points, more chocobo expedition slots, everything like that. All of that are benefits to the royal rank. And there are a few other, obviously there is the elephant in the room when it comes to banners about paid lapis versus not paid lapis. Now, there are people who have spent 30,000 lapis upwards on a banner and not getting, you know, the banner unit. I don't think this is terribly different from Brave Exvius. Just because the odds are not particularly great in that game versus this game. And to such, well, paid lapis banners do have the benefit of being, well, how to say this, more guaranteed. Like, if you take a look at this, you're either guaranteed on step 1 and step 2, you are of some variety, whereas the last step gives you a guaranteed UR FFBE character. Now, I'm not overly fond of this banner, even though there is a 75% chance. Eileen is a pretty low roll right now, and Medina, Ayaka, and Rain are the high rolls. So, depends on your spending habits. It's overall, I guess, not terrible. There's even a little bit of a discount. But when it comes to War of the Visions and spending, there are clear benefits to spending, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee you that you are going to have good results. And to that, I want to bring up 2 cases. A case of Ramza and a case of Victoria. One character who was a collaboration character, and again, for people who are not, who don't remember, collaboration characters in this game, you cannot farm shards for them. And I also want to just turn that just a little bit. Collaborations characters you cannot farm shards for. It is one of the more ridiculous things, because seasonal characters I can understand. Okay, you have your seasonal characters. I'm not going to completely deprive the company of making a character that is limited time. It's so long as it's not necessary. But on the other hand, when it comes to Final Fantasy characters, which is something that happened with FF14 as well as Final Fantasy Tactics, the idea that limited characters cannot be farmed shards and they disappear from the pool afterwards is bullshit. We all knew why it was happening in Brave Exvius. It was mainly because characters were under licensing agreements. Like, obviously, trying to license something like Monster Hunter is difficult and everything like that. Legal is very rarely fun in the grand scale of things. So I'm not heartless when it comes to looking at this kind of stuff. What I am heartless about is Final Fantasy. Square Enix owns Final Fantasy. There should be no reason why Tactics or FF14 has to be a limited time thing. To that point, again, getting back to before my tangent, was the idea of Victoria and Ramza. Ramza was a limited time character and one back at the time when I figured, hey, I'm going to try and max out a limited time character. He'll end up being strong, he'll be a long-term investment for me. Everything here seems like a win. Well, trying to get all of the shards needed for him was an exercise in futility. It was annoying refreshing the shops every day while the banner was still up, and polls very rarely ended up yielding any shards whatsoever, or any duplicates. To this date, Ramza is definitely one that I spent, I don't know, maybe about $250, but for me that's not really a problem, but overall it left an incredibly bad taste in my mouth going forward. I really hate the idea of limiteds in this game, especially now with the new tower event, which is proving just how unfar your money actually goes if you decide to go in on a limited character, because here we are looking at content that scales incredibly upwards in an incredibly unfair way. While I was happy to see a new form of content in more of the Visions, this content feels incredibly shitty for anyone who are not whales. One of the biggest problems being that characters have limited time uses of abilities, and when they run out of the abilities in the tower, you have to wait 2 days to regenerate stuff. It sucks. It sucks for a whole bunch of reasons, not to mention that the content is just so incredibly hard that I don't think that any free-to-player could ever achieve floor 20. I could be wrong, but that's the way it seems right now. Without allocating proper resources or spending a ton in this game, this tower event has proven that taking a character only to LB4 or LB3 as a limited time is not worth it, not even a little bit. Now that I've talked about the horror story and everybody has already written this game off as bullshit, I want to talk about story characters, because story characters are the other side of the coin, and in 100% my opinion, the way better investment. Why? This is Victoria. She is a character who is a story character. She's very strong. She has very good stats. She's powerful. She's a Dragoon. She's beautiful. I love her. But when it comes to about how good she is, she's plenty good. She is pretty damn strong. And her kit is really well. How much money have I actually spent on her? I've probably spent about $50. And why have I only spent $50? Well, because I bought some lapis and I went on a guaranteed banner, gave me a dupe of her. But other than that, I have been farming her shards. I have been using free lapis in the shops to pay for shards as well. And I've just been doing her daily hard quest, getting shards as I've been going up. And here she is. She's TMR'd. She's fully maxed out. She is my sweetheart. I love her to death. And she has done way more. She has felt like such a better investment than Ramza was. Ramza, who ended up being this overly expensive character. And that kind of also speaks to something else that I need to talk about with an image. These are the current most powerful characters on the JP side. You'll notice Lucia, Medina, and Vanessa as well. I believe her name is Vanessa. Rain is there, and Miranda, Thalia, Yerma, Ketone, and Gilgamesh. One thing you'll notice about all of these characters, Ayaka and Victoria and Frederica, Engelbert, Stern, if you'll notice something about the S tier and higher, Thancred, Christmas Mashley, Ramza, and Orlando are the only characters that are considered to be the double S rank, or are considered to be some of the highest tier characters, and that are limited. Sorry, limited is what I meant to say. Point being that you can get by in this game, and you can start working on really good characters that have nothing to do with collaborations and that are not expensive. Free Lapis is dropped incredibly regularly in the game, and it is enough. The only thing that I would say really helps with buying any Lapis is if you do want to make this your game. If you do really like tactics and everything, and you like the idea of challenging tactics-based stuff, because that's the way the tower is currently, probably a little more sided to unfair, because every floor should just refresh all of your skills. That just, the raid sucks, or the floor sucks just so hard right now, that system. But regardless, for all the horror stories that I would like to tell you about how absolutely atrocious everything is, there are more than ample opportunities with great characters to still be strong. And that kind of brings me into another thing that I need to talk about, is Victoria. I should just say one more thing before I talk about rare resources. When it comes to Victoria, and specifically with royal ranks, when you are looking at, if you are looking at getting 2x speed, I remember it being approximately, it would cost about $1,000. It was somewhere around there, I do believe, to get 2x speed. Obviously, for whales, not much of anything. For people who are free to play, it'll probably take about 2 to 3 years of playing daily, which is a lot. But a couple of things. First of all, we've seen a lot of double up events, and I'd imagine that royal rank points will eventually get doubled up as well. It's pretty unreasonable to expect that kind of a 3-year thing, but who knows? I can't say for certain. I guess I'm trying to defend it because my personal feelings about the royal rank, other than the fact that I've kind of supported it, is that it is a good thing to give a little bit of extra benefits to people who are spending and supporting the game and supporting the development of the game. The people who are spending money should be rewarded a little bit. They are paying their hard-earned money, and people who are not are getting a free game to play. That's just the way it is. Too bad. So I do think that the royal rank is good for that, as opposed to something like Brave Exvius, which had an absolutely atrocious spending benefits. Like, if you're going to have people spend in your game, they should be getting benefits. So that is my personal belief about that. Alright, now talking about these rewards, when you have a character that gets fully limit broke, they can access their job levels up to level 15. From anything, the reason why we say LB3 is the minimum that you want to get on any character, like getting to the 3rd crystal level here, the reason that you want to do that is because then you have fully access to all the jobs, all the upgrades for your characters. And outside of the yellow materials, which are pretty farmable, you really don't need pink resources except for the most difficult content in the game. Job level 13, 14, and 15 are just pure stats. They don't unlock anything. They are simply if you really like a character and you just want to make sure that they are the strongest. Not to mention that pink items right now are just really difficult to farm for anybody other than whales. This is a 30 stamina mission that is I think the only place, as a matter of fact, that you can farm pink materials. And I'm sure that pink materials will ease up over time. As with any gacha game, when you are playing in the gacha game, gacha games become more generous over time. They scale back difficulty. They make things easier. They repeat events when it's easier, which is probably going to happen for this tower as well. But yeah, when it comes right down to it, that is something to remember when you are seeing this stuff. But like in terms of the this is the N-level whale stuff where it's like, well, they need something to do with all of these characters. Let's give them a progression rate for their incredibly high-powered characters. And okay, all right, that doesn't bother me so much. The idea that they have something to do. But yeah, the other thing that I will recommend for anybody who is on the global side, this video is going up at about 3 p.m. Japanese Standard Time. 5 hours from then, there will be a JP livestream. It is the first JP livestream since I think December, actually. So it's been a long time since a livestream has popped up, and most of the benefits that were mentioned back in that livestream have already been done and finished. So I would assume that tonight's JP livestream should be pretty big for talking about the next few months, and potentially, and will almost certainly announce the next collaboration, which I'm going to just say April's going to be Final Fantasy VII month, because this game needs something new to attract more players. So here we go, we're done. Let's see what the resources we got. About this, and a blue one for some reason. It's totally random, it's really difficult to get everything. This is a very long-term project right now, and something that you don't need to worry about. At least not for the first 3 months on the global side, I would say. Heck, even the JP side, I would not say. I'm also going to do this. But anyway, for 5 hours from when this video goes up, I will be live restreaming the JP live stream. We'll see what's there. So if you're interested in WOTIV, please come join me on my Twitch channel. The link will be in the description. And I guess we'll see what the future of WOTIV has in store. And by all means, if you want, come out to my live stream, and if you have any questions that you'd like to ask about WOTIV, sorry, life's been a little busy, a little crazy, so it's been a little difficult trying to answer all the questions, but I will try and do as much as I possibly can. So anyway, that's about the video. I definitely check out the list here right below me if you want to see which characters you maybe want to go. Sorry, it's a little bit small, but you should be able to make it out. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.